All right, welcome everybody to the podcast formerly known as the Wildcast. I was super excited about the name Wildcast and loved it so much that I forgot to actually look and see if that name was in use anywhere. And sure enough, after last week's episode, I did some Googling, checked it out, and yeah, there's a podcast called The Wildcast, and it's like 250 episodes deep. So I'm not gonna tread on their turf. I mean, it's completely unrelated. So in reality, we could probably live in this world together, but I'm just gonna go ahead and err on the side of caution and be like, there's plenty of other names. So I'm going to change the name. I'm not going to change the number of episodes. This is still episode 10 of the podcast. It's just going to have a new name. And so what new name is it? Well, I was thinking about a bunch of different things, and everything was either in use or just felt kind of played out or just really wasn't that fun. But then, for whatever reason, I thought of Jimmy Games Wild, and that just kind of made me smile. And so I think that's what I'm going to go with. Jimmy Games Wild. That's the new name of the podcast. Because I like that it's Jimmy Wild with, you could say Jimmy Games Wild, like that's like my middle name is Games, which I think is funny. And then also Games Wild, because I am rather animated when I play games. There's a lot of swearing and a lot of smack talking, and so it's actually, I'm kind of animated. So the wild part, gaming wild, kind of makes sense to me. But anyway, that's probably way too much information. But Jimmy Games Wild, welcome to episode 10 of the podcast. All right, so topics for today. Once again, a lot of things going on, and you're probably sick of me saying there's a lot of things going on, but it's true. There's so much. So main topic today is the more NVIDIA 3080, 3090 shenanigans. Bots, scalpers, they're selling out, websites are crashing, the usual. But then, of course, we got the new ones are sites are adding more bot protection, or more protection to try to make it so that gamers are getting the cards and not scalpers and bots. Well, for example, Newegg was canceling orders on legitimate people buying cards. Their bot protection was actually canceling legit orders, and still scalpers were getting through. So and you're like, hey, how do you know so much about this? Yeah, my order was canceled. I was pissed off. There was some wild going on the other night. That was Friday night, I think it was. Yeah, Friday night. Yeah, anyway, we'll get into that. And then what else we got? We got the capacitor controversy. The Igor's Lab put out the article saying, hey, these cards are crashing at a certain megahertz, and it looks like these capacitors are the problem. So there's a lot going into it. I don't fully understand it, so I'm just going to cover the people that know what they're talking about and like the story in general. So anyway, we'll get to that. But I did want to do kind of like a lightning round of news also, just because I don't need to spend all day on this stuff. But stuff like Microsoft buying ZeniMax, Amazon Xbox pre-orders, and Mass Effect Trilogy remaster. I didn't even know there was a Mass Effect Trilogy remaster in the works, and then I found out it's delayed, and I was like, did this even exist? And now it's delayed? But whatever. I'm just happy that it's coming. So anyway, so let's get into it. Before we get to the news, we'll do what have I been playing. So I guess news also is that No Man's Sky had a new update called Origins. And so I restarted playing the game, and I love that game. And I I love it because it's a really nice success story, because I liked the game at launch. It pissed me off, but I really liked it anyway. And then over the years, it has dramatically changed and improved for, I think, the better all the way. But anyway, it's really fun. And I started over and I was like, oh, this is great. So hopefully get some more of that. And my first planet that I started on, had sandworms. So those massive sandworms were like, pew! And like it's like shaking, and yeah, it's awesome. It was really cool. So I mean, that's what gaming's supposed to do, right? It's supposed to get you excited, and that got me excited. I was like, yes, I love it. But anyway, what else was I playing? Xenoblade Chronicles X. I got back into that. I wrapped up the Collectopedia for Primordia. So that was fun. That was like camping. I think it was called Facewood, or not camping, but hunting for Facewood. I was like, geez, that took forever, but I finally did it. When I say forever, it took like an hour to find it, but I found it. So yeah, so hopefully get some more videos up for that this week, depending on what work looks like. But I think work is going to calm down so I can start doing some more videos. Well, more gaming in general, and then more videos also. So, all right, in this week's collection revisit, I just want to take a kind of quick trip back into the archives, and this is going to be September 1999. Anyone? All right, let's do it. So, September 9, 1999, Sega Dreamcast launched. So this is my actual Dreamcast from September 9, or well, technically September 10th. So let's short story here. So I was a broke college kid. Was I in college? No, I was out of college, but was I out of college? Yes, I think I was out of college, but I was still broke anyway. My first job, I want to say, I think I was making $9.25 an hour. That was my first job out of college. I think that's how much it was. So yeah. But anyway, 1999. I was at the mall, the Meridian Mall in Okemos, Michigan, and I stopped it. I can't remember now. It was one of those things where it was either GameStop or EB Games or Software Etc., whatever it was. I want to say it was EB Games in the mall, in Meridian Mall. And I was just looking at stuff, and I was like, oh snap, Dreamcast. I love Dreamcast, but I'm a broke college kid. So what's going to happen? Obviously, I'm going to buy the Dreamcast. So I bought the Dreamcast. I run home. That was Friday night, so technically that was September 10th, because I pulled up the 1999 calendar, and this launched on a Thursday. But anyway, so Friday night, I'm leaving. I got my Dreamcast. I got Hydro Thunder. And actually, I was going to grab it. I forgot. And I got Blue Stinger also. I'm pretty sure I got Blue Stinger. I think that was the launch title. I know I had Blue Stinger. I can't remember if I got it right away. I think I did. Anyway, I'm way off task. So, I run home, and I tell my roommate. I was like, I got good news, and I got bad news. The bad news, or no, I was like, the good news is I got Dreamcast, and we can play Dreamcast all weekend. The bad news is I don't have rent money. So you can see that my poor financial decisions started early and have continued all the way along. It's fantastic. But anyway, so where the story takes a little bit of a turn is that I get everything hooked up, and the Dreamcast won't boot. Well, it boots to like just the logo, and that's it. And it won't go any further. And then but this was early internet days, so there wasn't a lot of information out there. But so I'm like calling, well, actually the GameStop or the EB Games was closed at the time, so like I couldn't even call them to get information. But it turns out that like 1% of the Sega Dreamcast consoles were like DOA basically, and I was like, sweet, that's awesome. It happens to be mine because it was now too late on Friday night to go back to the store and get another one. So I didn't get to play Friday night, but Saturday morning ran back to EB Games, picked up a new console, which is this guy. So my second original Dreamcast. And we played Hydro Thunder, which to this day is still one of my favorite games. And we played it all weekend. It's just one of those games. And I remember when, Dave & Buster's? Yeah, Dave & Buster's had like the actual like boat cockpits that you could get in to play Hydro Thunder, and I'd be like, yeah, whoa, going full throttle, and it was awesome. But that was the only time I think that I ever went to an arcade and was like good at something, because I've been playing it nonstop at home. But anyway, that's a collection revisit. Just a silly story about me deciding to buy a Dreamcast instead of pay rent. The good old days that still continue nowadays. So yeah, what else do we have for collection updates? So I don't actually have any new physical games that I bought. So I'm holding true to my word that I am focused on hardware. So what do we have for hardware though? So I got this guy. So the EVGA XR1, and this is like they call it a video capture device. So, and the reason I'm hesitating and saying this is because when I think about this, I think about capture cards, and I think about like the Camlink, from Elgato Camlink for cameras. But this will do both. So you can plug a camera in there, you can plug a game console into it. It's got a microphone. So in theory, you can just go ahead and take this and basically start streaming. Plug your camera onto it or your console. That's pretty nice. Like, flexibility is nice because, like I said, my current setup is Elgato. So I have a capture card, I have a 4K 60 Pro Mark II, and then I have a Camlink for the camera. So that's cool. I haven't even taken it out of the box yet, so get that hooked up. But I want to use it as like a secondary set, or like impromptu video shooting. So I think I'm going to use it. Actually, the big first attempt of using it will be for the next thing that I got going on. So this is spoilers. I'm not, like I said, I'm focused on hardware right now, but it's huge. Let's see. There we go. Yeah. Let's get this lined up again. So yeah, that's a Fantex P600S. Get the new case. I'm going to start a new PC build because why not? I don't have enough computers. But with all the new tech, it'll be good to get a new build going. Anyway. So I'm going to start a new series of videos with this build, and it's going to be a slow build. Like, it's not going to be like I buy all of the parts and put it all together all in one video or something, because it's going to be all next gen stuff. So it's going to be an AMD Zen 3, it's going to be an NVIDIA it'll be an EVGA 3080 for the Win Ultra, most likely. If those ever get in stock and I can buy one, which according to Jacob, they should be in stock in October. Should be fairly, well, I won't say easy, but better to get one, better chance of getting one. And then it'll be PCIe Gen 4 NVMe's. So I got the Samsung 980 Pros on pre-order also, and of course this will be water cooled. So probably looking at I'm definitely looking at the Corsair Hydro X series. So yeah, so it should be a fun build. I love doing the builds. It's like it makes me happy. Like, I can work, even if it's frustrating, and a lot of times building a PC, especially a water cooled one, is frustrating, but I love it. It makes me Jimmy Mild instead of Jimmy Wild. Like, it's soothing and relaxing to me. So anyway, so we'll get those videos started up pretty soon and keep that going as like a build log or something like that. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news. Do one little quick thing about the 3080, then we'll get into the capacitor stuff, which is what is really kind of interesting to me. But so surprisingly, all these cards are selling out, and Nvidia put out this little fact that it'd be like, and it's marketing spin, like, oh well, there was a lot of demand and we didn't know. And I'm like, shut up. Like, you knew the demand was there, and if you weren't ready to launch your product, you shouldn't have launched it. Like, they should have just waited. In the end, does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. People are going to get their freaking cards, but it's still, I don't know, it's still just it didn't need to be this bad. We didn't need to have stores, websites crashing. We didn't need to have people waiting in line for days to try to get one of these cards. We didn't need the scalpers selling them for 3 times the price on eBay, which actually brings up another thing, is like, we need to have a way to get to eBay, to have eBay restrict the resale of these cards and electronics and basically anything in general. We need to have eBay come in and be like, you cannot buy something and then just immediately resell it on launch day. Like, that's, we did it with tickets, so you can't scalp tickets. I don't know why we can't stop scalping of electronics, but whatever. We'll get to that. Or we won't. That's just basically going to be the new future. Is like, if you're not a botter, you're not going to get stuff, which is more likely what's going to happen. So anyway, so the funny part to me right now is that some of the people that missed out on cards are going to benefit from what is happening right now. And so what is happening right now is that some people are reporting crashing of their games when they're running, and it just dumps them to desktop. And a lot of the speculation is that there is something wrong with the NVIDIA cards. So what I'm going to say and what I'm going to cover is, like, this is not my discovery. I'm just reporting what is happening, and all credit goes to the sites and the people that I'm about to mention. So we'll just kind of go through it. So, but basically what happens is, the short version is, based on temperature, your video card is going to perform better or worse. So the cooler the card can stay, the faster that it will run, the better performance. Now, what's happening apparently is that as the card gets up to 2000 megahertz, it starts to crash. Like, something in the card can't handle that. And for reference, the cards are shipping with a stock frequency of around 1700 megahertz. I think the Founders Edition is 1710, and then some of the third-party cards are 1800, 1900, whatever. So the important part to remember is that you're way above the advertised clock of 1700 if things are crashing at 2000. But there still should be some sort of protection. If the card can't do it, it shouldn't be able. If the card can't do 2000 megahertz, it shouldn't be able to get there. If it can't handle it, there should be something to stop it. But anyway, let's get cruising through this. So, Igor's Lab. And I lost the top of the page. But anyways, there should be a big banner that says Igor's Lab at the top. But if you have not followed Igor's Lab, you should. He does videos on YouTube, and then he's got his page. Some of the videos, or I think most of the videos, are in German, but some of them do have an English translation, and here we have English in the website. So anyway, I'm gonna get down to it. Like I said, I'm not gonna cover this exclusively or thoroughly. You can go and watch all the supporting information or read the supporting information I'm going to give you. So basically what is happening is you're looking at the back of the GPU, and you're looking at, in red and in green are different capacitors. So the original argument at the time of this article is that the ones in red are bad and the ones in green are good. So the internet jumped on this and said, just look at the back of your card, and if you look like this, you're okay. If you look like this, you're not okay. Turns out, surprisingly, it's a little bit more complicated than that. So, but what happened is Jay's 2 Cents put out a video and kind of just started talking about this and in a more mainstream way, because as fantastic as Igor's Lab is, not as many people follow that as do YouTubers. So anyway, so Jay starts getting the news out, and he's on Twitter. He's talking about it. So you can watch this. That's cool. That'll give you more information. But I would classify Jay's 2 Cents as more entertainment and less technical for something like this. And that's just a comment on this particular topic, not in general. I mean, he has some technical stuff, like especially when he gets into water cooling or whatever. But for this, it's more entertainment, getting the knowledge out there of that there is a situation. What I do recommend, if you want to know more about this and you have about 45 minutes to kill, is Buildzoid. So actually, Hardcore Overclocking is a fantastic channel for really digging into motherboards, GPUs, and RAM overclocking in particular is really good. But Buildzoid, what he does is he will take a look at the actual card itself, and he'll break down every piece that's on there and say, this is what it is, this is what it does, and this is why it's good or bad. So it's 42 minutes and 37 seconds, and I would say you either love Buildzoid or not love Buildzoid. I particularly love Buildzoid. I love his attitude. I love the way he just goes through and talks about stuff. So it's well worth it. But basically what he does is he explains a little bit further some of the things that are in the Igor's Lab article. But so anyways, just watch that. But like I said, it basically comes down to, it is not as cut and dry as just look at the back of your card and see if it's going to be good or bad. Let's see. The one partner card company that I know of, EVGA, I believe they're the only people that have spoken out about this. And Jacob on Twitter, if you don't know Jacob, Jacob Freeman is global shipping director or something like that at EVGA. He is the face of EVGA, let's say that. And he is the one that is out there on Twitter, on YouTube, talking to people and keeps everyone informed. He's on the EVGA forums. He's a fantastic guy. So what he came out and said is that the EVGA For the Win 3 Ultras, I guess, and non-ultras as well, but anyway, the For the Win 3s were actually delayed because they did run into this. So what they ran into was this setup. So they had this capacitor setup, and they found that the EVGA For the Win 3s were not performing very well. So they had to go back to the drawing board, and they added these different capacitors on there. So once again, I won't get into technical stuff because I don't understand it, but they did come back, and now the cards are running better. And the ones that you buy in this, well, eventually buy in the store maybe, are fixed, are like the correct design. So anyways, so there's a lot of information going on there, and I will put all of the links in the show notes that will go up on my website, j76gaming.net, and that link will be in the description below. One more follow-up, and I haven't actually read this, I just saw this came out today, is that Igor's Lab has a follow-up about the capacitor. So definitely want to dig through that. But like I said, all of this will be in, links will be all in the website. All right, so yeah, that's the big thing. So it's kind of interesting because I think for the people that weren't able to get the cards at launch, which is most people, now we all have more information that we can use to purchase these cards. And I think there was some shenanigans going on because some of the cards, I want to say it was Zotac. Like Zotac actually limited their base model cards so that it's actually lower than the Founders Edition, so that it created more of a gap between its higher end cards. And I was like, oh, that's shady. So that kind of sucks. And then you have this capacitor stuff, and then you have a lot more temperature performance readings coming out on YouTube now. So I think it worked out that a lot of people didn't get their cards. Am I still pissed off that I don't have one? Absolutely, because the card that I want is the For the Win 3 Ultra, which is fine with the capacitors. So anyway, and so why am I so pissed off that I don't have it? Well, because like I said earlier, Newegg, well, let's back it up a second. So Wednesday, was it Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. This is the day before the 3090. So the 3090s launched on Thursday morning, the 24th. So on the 23rd, Wednesday, is when EVGA was getting in their first shipment of the For the Win 3s. And they were going on sale. And I spent most of the day. So, I mean, I was still technically working. I was in meetings. I was still doing review stuff and blah, 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 whatever. So I was getting that done. But in the meantime, I was F5ing, reading. I was getting information from Discord, getting information from Twitter, getting information from forums, whatever. And I'm watching, and then the EVGA site goes up with the new cards, and I didn't get one. And I was pissed. Like, not pissed that I didn't get a card. Like, I was very pissed about that. But I was pissed because, in general, here we are in 2020, and we can't even keep websites up. And I don't want to sound like I'm really talking mess about EVGA because I love them, but I think the bigger picture, the bigger problem is, why is it so hard to get this card? Why is it so hard to get new stuff that we can't keep a website up in order to purchase them? So anyways, so what Jacob said was that they were, on that same day, they were shipping out cards to other vendors. So, doing some quick math in my head, I was like, well, they probably didn't overnight them, so it's probably going to take like 2 days for the cards that EVGA shipped out to make it to Newegg. And so I was like, I'm ready. So on Friday, I'm watching all day long. I'm watching the Newegg site. I'm like, still nothing. Later in the evening, a couple of a couple of other cards start to show up on Newegg, and I was like, oh, they got shipments. So I'm watching, and you can start seeing people in Discord and be like, hey, Newegg's got some cards. They're coming. They're not no one's necessarily talking about the For the Win 3 though, but in my head I'm like, I know that Jacob said they shipped them and they're gonna be coming. So I'm refreshing. Boom, cards in stock. Boom, it's in my cart. Boom, I'm going to check out, and Newegg makes you do a CAPTCHA and multi-factor authentication. So I go through CAPTCHA, I go through I get the code in email, it's all plugged in, and I'm on to payment. Hit the PayPal's authenticating. I have two-factor on PayPal, so I'm on my phone. I'm like using the thing there, and so I get that code entered. Now I start to see the chat of this on Discord and be like, now this is out in the wild. Everyone knows. Like, I was ahead of the game. Everyone knows now. But it's okay because I've already done the hard part. It's in my cart. I've already gone through the PayPal. We're good. This is going. And then I come back from PayPal and boom. My order was denied or canceled because Newegg suspected that I was a bot and canceled my order and then blocked my IP. So me, the customer for years of Newegg, trying to legitimately purchase a video card I'm not even F5ing. I'm clicking with a mouse. Like it's about as slow as you can do it, right? But I had my strategy. I was like, I took all the information from Jacob and like just thinking about shipping times, and I'm watching everything, and I was ready. This was like the time I'm going to get this fucking card. And then they blocked me for being a bot just because I was fast. I was so pissed. Like I absolutely lost my mind Friday night. Like just boom. Because and a lot of people are going to jump and say, hey, well, just relax. It's just a video card. I'm like, okay, fair point. But what I'm more pissed about is that I'm more pissed about being basically called a cheater. Like I'm cheating when I'm not. And I know that nobody cares, but I do. I care that someone, even if it's just another bot on the Newegg site, which is the ironies that Newegg is using bots to protect against bots, but whatever, that's fine. But I'm not a cheater, and I got called a cheater, and I don't get my fucking video card. Pissed. And I just, like, it put me over the edge. I'm like, I can't handle this. I can't. And so now I'm so pissed off about this whole situation that I don't care anymore. I'm like, enjoy your video cards. Go fuck yourself. That's where I'm at right now. Like, I can't. So, who knows? Maybe someday I'll actually get one of these cards. But I tell you what, this is my big fear, and I've said it before. My big fear is that the prices will start to go up before most people get a chance to get the cards, myself included. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I really want one of these cards for my new build. So anyway, I think that's enough about these fucking 3080s and 3090s. Oh, and the 3090, I didn't end up trying to get a 3090 because the performance just isn't there. So the For the Win 3 that I want is $810 basically, and the 3090 version of that is $1,800. So for an additional $1,000, you get maybe 15% performance. And I was just like, I can't justify that. Like if it was like 25 or 30%, then even then that is not a good like price to performance, but at least it's significant enough that I could justify it in my stupid head, right? But I couldn't. At 15%, I can't. So anyway, so I decided to go for the 3080 and just call it a day. But we'll see. All right, so let's get on to some Xbox news. I think these will fall in the category of lightning round, because I hopefully won't rant on any of these. We'll just kind of talk about them. But so Microsoft buys out ZeniMax, which includes Bethesda. So on the one hand, I'm like, I don't care. Okay, that's fine. But what I do kind of worry about, and I don't know if I'm angry about it or happy about it, is that most likely this is going to mean that the new Bethesda games are going to be exclusive to Microsoft going forward. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I hate exclusivity. I hate it. But since I am decidedly on Team Xbox, even if only by a narrow margin over PlayStation, like I don't hate Sony. Like I don't really care, but it's just fun to say you're on a team. So anyways, I'm Team Xbox, barely. I think it gives them a big leg up here. If all of a sudden when the next Elder Scrolls comes out, and it'll be like exclusive to Xbox and probably PC, hopefully, be like, I don't care, that's fine. And you know, Sony's leading the charge with the exclusives anyways. So if you're mad about exclusivity like I am, blame Sony, which I do. So anyways, but $7.5 billion Microsoft spent on this. So I did read an article today where it basically said there's no way that Microsoft spent $7.5 billion to get Bethesda, and then there's no way they're not going to make the games exclusive. I'm like, fair point. Anyway, so on the Xbox front, the expansion cards actually, I think they went out, like announced as pre-order today. But anyway, so $220 to get an expansion card that's 1 terabyte for the Xboxes. And that sounds like a lot of money. But if this is actually a really fast, basically PCIe Gen 4 NVMe, $200 or $220 for a terabyte is not outrageous. It's a lot of money, but it's not outrageous. So we'll see how the performance is. Hopefully, well, according to them, it's going to be just like it's installed on like the internal hard drive or the internal solid state. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so those are available for pre-order if you want. So speaking of pre-orders, I got an email from Amazon saying that most likely my Xbox Series X pre-order was not going to arrive on time. And actually all of my friends got the same email, and it seems like I think everyone got the email. I don't think anyone is really comfortable thinking that they're going to get their Amazon Xbox on launch day. That sucks, but whatever. The only reason that I would want it on launch day is just because I want new stuff sooner rather than later. Because to be honest, I don't give a shit about any of the launch games for Sony or Microsoft. So who cares? I just want it sooner. I did order an Xbox Series S directly from Microsoft. So we'll see if the S gets here before the X does from Amazon, which sounds like it will. But anyway, we'll see. Okay, other lightning round. LG. For those of you that have an LG TV or are thinking about getting one of the new LG TVs to go with your shiny new console, there was I should say with your console or with your new 30 series NVIDIA, there was a problem where G-Sync wasn't working properly and the colors were not as well. I don't know how to say that. The color reproduction wasn't as accurate or full scale when you were using 120 hertz mode on 4K. 4K 60 was fine, but 4K 120 was not. And so you'll start to see, or you may start to see some more information about this, but the short version is LG was like, yep, there's a problem, and yep, we have a firmware fix coming. And actually, there was a video yesterday, I think it was, the 26th of September, that said, hey, there is a firmware available. If you contact LG directly and say, hey, I have this TV and I have NVIDIA 30 series graphics card, they will give you the firmware as a pre-release. And then eventually it'll come to everyone. So that's cool. So good job, LG. I'm looking forward to this firmware because I kind of stressed out because I bought the new LG TV, and with the intent of running like my new PC with the 30 series card on it to get 4K 120, and then it was broken. So I kind of stressed out for a second, but then LG right there with the fix, like fast. So good stuff, LG. What else we got? So AMD takes a shot at NVIDIA. I don't know if this is a good move or not, but so with all of the bullshit that NVIDIA is going through right now with their graphics card, so AMD comes out and says, hey, don't worry, when we launch ours, they'll be available and you'll get some. I'm like, okay, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right, and I hope the performance is there. Because, oh yeah, here, I got them out of order. So these are leaks, so take this grain of salt, blah, 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 leak disclaimer. But the big Navi, the big one, is only looking to be 22.5 teraflops versus the 3080 that is 29. And I mean, I've said it before, is like teraflop to teraflop is not performance. Like, it is one piece of performance, but it's not the bigger picture. But still, that's a big gap. So I was expecting, hoping, thinking that Big Navi was going to be right on par with a 3080. And I don't think it's going to be there. I think it's going to be less. And that's unfortunate because a lot of people I think were hoping that they would push NVIDIA a little bit. Because like I've said before, it's like NVIDIA's got in their pocket a 3080 Ti or like a 20 gig version of the 3080 coming anyways. They're waiting for the response, to respond to AMD with it. So we'll see. But we'll find out October 28th, I think it is, where AMD's going to start talking about these cards officially. So yeah, what else we got? Last lightning round, and then I'll shut up. Did you guys know that there was a Mass Effect trilogy that was getting a remaster that was in the works? I didn't. Apparently it got delayed, but I don't actually care because I wasn't expecting it. So to find out that it's not coming until 2021 is like one of those things where I'm just going to focus on it's coming in 2021. Hooray! Because I never actually played the Mass Effect games. I know. I am a horrible gamer. I never played them. So this is my chance, and I'm pretty pumped about it, actually. Because I don't really care about the drama of them not like the ending of Mass Effect 3 or whatever. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I just want to play them. And now I don't have to dig my 360 out and hook that back up. I can just play a remastered version. So good stuff, man. I'm pumped. Like, that's awesome. So we're going to end today on the positive note that we're getting the Mass Effect trilogy remastered. So awesome stuff. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you next time on actually, did I forget it already? I think I forgot the name of it. Jimmy Games Wild.